The Conjuring 2, 2016. Ed and Lorraine Warren are back to remind us that the Amityville house was peanuts compared to their other lesser-known cases. This time, they hop across the pond to help a family with a curmudgeonly old ghost, even though Lorraine is wont to give up the ghost hunting altogether. But it seems like Ed just can't leave young women to suffer alone.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Our Rating, the show where I get together with two of my friends. We take a movie franchise, break it down by movie, give it an overall score, and throw it on the board to see where it lands compared to the other movie franchises. This week, we're looking at 2016's The Conjuring 2, and I'm joined by Will and Brian. Will, how are you doing today?
I am ready for a fright. It's Halloween season. We're in October. I'm loving it.
That's right. We are officially in October. How are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good. Like Will, I love October. It's one of my favorite months. The weather's usually pretty good in this month, and I like scary movies. I think Halloween's a great season for good scares.
Very nice. Now, have either of you seen this movie before? For the podcast, guys, come on, say it out loud.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm shaking my head. No.
We're new with the podcasting. No, I've not seen The Conjuring 2 until this week.
Likewise, I shook my head. No, I have not seen any of the Conjuring movies, so it's all new to me, which is fun.
I'm in the same boat with you. The only ones I've seen are the ones we've seen so far for this podcast. This is all new for me. And so far, I mean, maybe a little bit of spoilers, I'm enjoying them. Like, we're 2 movies in, and I'm having a good time with this one. Much better time with this horror franchise than last year's horror franchise. And I'm not trying to bring up old ghosts or whatever. I'm just saying this style of horror, where it's like, more in your head and is there actually something in the dark over there, is better for me than like the horror gore fest that was the Evil Dead, specifically the 2 remakes.
Right. Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Will? Like, I know you're a big fan of the Evil Dead, the first couple, but like gore versus the illusion of something scary, where do you land on that?
I like it both ways. If I can say that on a podcast. If they're done well, I'll take any kind of scares. I think gore has a place, and this movie specifically added much more gore than the first movie had. So that's something. But this is still more a classic ghost storytelling than a gore fest slasher movie.
Yeah. What about you, Brian?
I prefer the storytelling over the gore myself. Like Will says, though, gore does have a place, but it needs to be wielded well. And a lot of movies don't do that so much. It's more just like there's a term for it. It's like gore porn or something like that.
Torture porn?
Torture porn, yeah, torture porn. I hate that stuff where it's just trying to gross you out. I don't like any of that stuff. So The Conjuring 2 was a great mix of good storytelling like the original, and like Will says, they added a little bit more violence. Did we get any murders or kills or deaths in this? I don't remember.
I don't think we saw anybody die.
I don't think we saw anybody die.
Aside from like the vision of all the people dying in the Amityville house, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Right at the very beginning. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we didn't see it happen in this time frame. We saw flashes of other stuff and we're told stories and whatnot. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I generally prefer this style of horror, as I mentioned. The one like gory movie that I did enjoy, I haven't seen it in like a decade, but the very first Saw, I actually did like, despite being way more gory, because I kind of liked the question that it asked. And like, does it justify the entire movie? Maybe not, but I found that very interesting. Anyways, that's a different franchise for a different movie. Right now, we're talking about The Conjuring.
Same director, though.
Is it? It's both James Wan?
James Wan is all the Saw movies, pretty much. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And then he did
so far the 2 Conjurings.
Yeah, which is good. I like to see the very different style, and I prefer this over Saw movies for sure.
Absolutely. So far, I strongly agree with that. We'll see if they can stick the landing on the next 2, but here we are. Now, this movie did the same thing the first movie did, where they introduced you to a character that's going to become popular in their own spin-off. Now, this character, though, the nun, Valak, I think that his name was.
Yeah.
Seemed like they weaved it into the story a little bit better, or at least for me, whereas Annabelle felt very stamped in there, like very out of place, but just kind of thrown in. Did it work for you in the same way, or did Valak seem just as out of nowhere as Annabelle did? I didn't ask either one of you. Let's go with Brian.
I didn't like the nun. I felt it was kind of the same thing as Annabelle. What I didn't like even more, though, was the Crooked Man. The Crooked Man felt completely unnecessary. Like in the first movie, we had a creepy spirit, ghost, whatever person, entity, demon that was like possessing people and causing issues over and over and over and over, right? And we had Annabelle was kind of stamped into this movie. This one, we had an entity that was, we had the nun, and you also had it taking control of the old guy in the chair and also doing the crooked guy. And like, it felt like a jumble of stuff going on. Like they were trying to put more into it. And this is a thing that we see time and time again in sequels, where they can either redo the whole movie and they're really rolling the dice on that, like they did in Aliens, right? They changed the whole idea of it and it works, but most of the time it doesn't. Or you can stick with the recipe and just turn up the volume, adding more spices to add flavor to it. That's what it felt like they did in The Conjuring 2. They stuck to the same ideas. They just added more, and the Crooked Man was too much. The nun felt kind of stamped in there, although it was a little better woven. It still kind of felt weird. And then, of course, you had the old guy in the chair, which would have been enough. That would have been enough. I don't think they needed the Crooked Man.
Yeah. What about you, Will?
I don't disagree. I felt the same way with the first one. I thought there was one or two too many ghosts being possessed throughout, and you didn't need them. In this one, I didn't care for the Crooked Man. I like the Crooked Man little like toy and story of the Crooked Man. I think it's creepy in itself, so it lends well to these kind of ghost storytellings. But I just hated the CGI of the Crooked Man, and he didn't really do anything, so he didn't really add anything to the movie. It specifically, there was one scene where Ed's blinded and he's like going up the stairs, and the Crooked Man's like following him, but Ed has no idea, so it's only for the audience. But then he never shows up or does anything. The Crooked Man doesn't actually do anything after that scene. So it was literally just for the audience's, whoa, what's going to happen? And then nothing happened. So it really felt out of place to me.
I'm 100% on board with Will's synopsis there. That's exactly how I felt. The Crooked Man, the CGI ruined it. It was creepy. It didn't need to be any more than just a creepy doll, little toy. And then we had the CGI thing that just didn't make any sense. It was lame. So I agree completely with what Will just said.
I will agree with the staircase scene. I didn't like the CGI of the Crooked Man, but I did kind of like, because the way I was taking it was more the old man ghost, or possibly the nun, but I think the old man ghost was using that imagery to scare the little boy when he got up and the dog transformed into the Crooked Man. And I was kind of okay with that because he wants people out of his house. And so he's going to turn into something creepy to that kid to scare them away. Or at least that's what I was assuming was happening in that scene, as opposed to it being a third ghost in this movie.
Right.
It worked for me in that scene way better than it worked for me when he's going up the stairs. And he doesn't even know that he's there. And it doesn't really serve a purpose. So I'll definitely give you that point. I liked the nun. For what it was a little weird that, she follows them across the ocean, but it seemed like she was haunting the Warrens. Is that their names?
Yes.
Okay. It seemed like she was haunting the Warrens and like made the other house worse, as opposed to living in the house in England and then waiting for them to get there. Is that what you guys took from that, or?
I actually have no idea how it works.
Okay.
I was a little confused on it myself too. It felt like there was a little bit too much for them to handle in this one again. Not that they failed miserably, they just didn't do an excellent job of combining all these different threads.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
There was the scene where she's at home in her library or in her office, whatever, with her daughter, and she's reading her Bible. I noticed on the bookshelf. Now, I'm not sure if this entire scene was a dream. I'd have to go back and actually check it out. Maybe I'll do that when I'm editing this. On the bookshelf, I noticed an A and a K because those are the initials of my daughters. And I even remember saying, like, oh, there's that. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I was looking around to see if there was the third initial.
V?
Well, no, I saw that because I was looking for my daughter's third initial. And I was like, it's weird that there's a V. And why are there two A's? And then when you find out the name later on, I'm like, wait a second. Those are the exact initials on the bookshelf. Was she dreaming in that time, or is it like subtly those are the initials they bought to put on the bookshelf? Because like
Yeah,
the
I think
nun
I think
had taken over his mind and got him to draw her and put her in the house. Did she do that to her and like, hey, go to IKEA and pick up these letters?
yeah, I think it was like a for the audience, little subtle clues that this demon is infiltrating in some
Controlling them?
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if controlling, but somehow.
I missed the initials altogether.
Yeah,
She wrote
there's
in the book
another
and later
scene-
found it. That was it.
Yeah.
There's,
All I know.
there's another scene where Valak's name comes up as well. I can't remember where it is, but there's another scene as well that Valak's name is in like the background somewhere as well. So yeah, I think it's just like these clues of like, oh yeah, this presence.
She's been here for a while.
Yeah, it's sinking in. You know, it's digging its teeth into you or whatever. But it just seemed weird. And by the end, I was like, okay, so is the curmudgeonly old man the same entity as this nun? Like, are they working together? It just seemed so convoluted at the end. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
If I was to guess, sorry, Brian, if I was to guess, I don't think the old man and the nun are working together. I think the old man is stuck, wanted to have them out of his house. And then when the Warrens show up, they bring the nun with them. The nun is such a more powerful entity than the old man that he kind of takes a back seat where he's just like, he was scaring them and now he's terrified.
Right.
That's how I was reading the situation, at least.
That's how I kind of got it too. I almost felt like the old man was being manipulated himself. Like he didn't even want to be that scary or cause that many problems. I felt like he was like being used by another source. Like I felt like there was an evil source that was maybe not doing anything with the nun, or maybe it was Valak who was doing the nun, the old guy, and the crooked man. I felt like this entity was just doing whatever it could to scare people in any way that was scary, and he found these three ways of doing it. That's what I kind of got from it, sort of. But I didn't feel like there seemed to be a scene when the old man was like, oh, thank you, I'm released now, I won't bother you so much. That's what it felt like, but it was a little confusing. There was a lot going on. You know, the last movie, I didn't even get the gist of it until she said, hey, the demon's possessing the mothers to kill the children. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's what's going on, I guess. In this one, they didn't even drop me a line. And I usually complain when they over-explain things in movies. I maybe could have used a better explanation in this one because I was a little confused. I just enjoyed the scares and enjoyed the ride, but it was kind of a bumpy one.
I agree. I like this movie is similar to the first. They know how to set up the atmosphere. They know how to keep the tension throughout. Is it 30 minutes too long? Probably. It felt long to me. Like I was just like, okay, there's a lot of scares in here, but like, are we getting somewhere? Like, are we going to come to a conclusion here? Because it felt long to me. Not that I wasn't interested or didn't retain my attention. It just felt long for a scary movie. Dan, did you feel that, or were you along for the ride and that was it?
So it's been a week. So I was pretty tired when I was watching this, and I passed out a little bit. We did go back and rewatch the scene and got up and like took the dog for a walk and came back to it. And that was enough to kind of perk me up again. And then I was invested for the rest of the movie. So I didn't feel that it was long per se, but I also fell asleep in it. So it's hard to critique that entirely. I don't think that was on the movie's part, though, because I was enjoying this movie quite a bit. I was getting invested into it until the very end. I think that was an outside source problem, not a Conjuring 2 problem.
Right.
So in the first movie we mentioned, you guys said that you liked all of the setups and scares, all of the tension. You didn't have any problems. I felt that there were a couple of cheesy, just loud clap, jump scares that could have been better, I guess.
Yeah, a little forced, yeah.
In this one, I didn't really find any of those. I felt like they did a good job. Everything was smooth. They built tension. They had good, solid scares in a variety of different ways. They did try some things that didn't work as well for me. They tried the scary image coming out of kind of nowhere that startles the viewer. That was the crooked man. And it didn't work for me at all. The CG looked terrible. It took me out of it. I was very disappointed with that. If you want to see a really well done version of that kind of scare where something comes out without any sound or anything. You just see it and you go, and you kind of freak. Watch It Follows, and it will come out of a doorway one time. And oh my God, I'm crawling up the couch because the way that they do that scene, and it's not CG, it's just this really tall dude that they hired for the shot with some makeup, and he walks into the door quietly, and it just freaks you out. They were trying to do that with the Crooked Man, and it just didn't work. It just failed miserably. That was the only scare that I thought was no good, and I still give them props for the try. It was a good try. I like that kind of scare. They just didn't pull it off.
Is that the one where it comes out of the dog? I'm going to say no then. Okay. Well, there's
Probably
one
not.
scene where like the little boy is walking through the house and the dog is at the back door and the dog like transforms into the creepy man. Creepy
Oh,
man?
I didn't see it transform. I must have like looked away or something. I remember the bell ringing from something.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So the dog is a Rottweiler, and I had my Rottweiler passed out right next to me, and I'm just sitting there like, don't kill the dog. Don't kill the dog. Don't kill the dog. It's
Right,
like,
yeah.
the dog is the only thing that died in the first one. I'm just like, come on. And then when it started to transform, I thought like the dog was getting mangled on screen. I was
right.
I don't want this. So when it turned into the creepy man, I was almost relieved. I was like, oh, cool. The dog's fine. We're good. Didn't scare me. Didn't work for me at all in that way because I was more concerned for the dog than for the little boy at that point. But
Isn't
other
it
than
weird?
that,
We can watch people be murdered all day long, but
Don't hurt the
when they
dogs.
start hurting the animals, that's when you take offense.
I'd say for the most part, the jump scares this one did work for me. Again, and we'll get to it, but until the last 10 minutes or so, and then I just checked right out. But like the opening, the setup, the build-up, it wasn't quite as powerful as the first movie, but I still think they did a good job. I don't remember the music building quite the same way. I don't remember the tension building quite the same way. And I think one of the main problems is a lot of the times the people that are in danger are the Warrens. And I know there's 2 more movies coming. So like the last 10 minutes when it is like him running through the house and she's all nervous for him, there's no tension in that scene for me. I'm like, he's in the sequels. Like there's no chance he dies. Maybe the little girl falls out the window, but I doubt it.
I don't think there would have been that much tension if I didn't know about sequels. I just didn't feel nervous for him at all in those scenes. Yeah.
But that was the nice thing in the first movie because I don't know that family at all. I don't know anything about their story. They're all expendable potentially. Like especially the dad in the first movie felt like he could definitely get taken out at any second. In this
I was begging for it.
It kind of this one felt kind of safe after a while. You're kind of like, oh, I don't think they're going to hurt these people. They're definitely not going to hurt the Warrens. I think we're okay here. And like it kind of ruined the last couple of minutes, like with that really tense scene in the house or what they're building towards. And it's like, all right, it just that part really didn't work for me. But that's the only part that really didn't work for me personally.
Do they have to start offing some people in the next couple of movies for you?
I mean, we got the kill scene in Amityville at the very beginning, and my guess is that's because you're 2 movies in now and nobody's gotten hurt. Well, that's not true. Some people have gotten hurt, the bite marks and whatnot, but nobody's gotten seriously hurt. No one's gone to the hospital or anything like that. And again, I don't necessarily want gore, but I do want to feel like there's the possibility of something bad happening. A different movie, I apologize. A Quiet Place did a great job, spoilers, of killing the little boy 2 minutes into the movie. Yeah. Because all of a sudden you are thinking subconsciously or consciously, you're thinking like, oh crap, anything can happen. If they're going to kill a little kid, they can kill anybody. And
I love when they do that. I love when they show you, hey, everything's on the table. You don't know what you're getting here. So
I love when they're murdering children on screens. That's just the best.
Well, that was an incredibly tense movie though, because it could have happened.
No, 100%. I agree. It just sounded humorous.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Now, the one thing I really liked in this movie, because it's such a stupid horror trope where like the little kid sees something and everybody goes like, oh, there's nothing here. I liked that in this one, the ghost was presenting itself to everybody. Like the little girl be like, oh, there's something in my room. She's like, no, there's not. And then like the dresser flies across the room. And you're just like, oh, damn. Or like the police show up. Oh, God, I love that scene. The police show up and they're looking around like, there's nothing here. What are you talking about? And the chair just like moves itself back in. And instantly the police are out like, yeah, we can't help you. Sorry, bye.
See, I thought that was an interesting choice for them to do because normally that creates a sense of fear and helplessness in the viewer watching these people who know that their house is haunted but can't convince anyone else of it. That helplessness, that's a feeling of fear and terror that they could have installed us, and they decided to completely do away with that. And everybody that came in, like, immediately got a taste of haunted ghost stuff. Like, they immediately just showcased it to everybody. And
except for the one person who it mattered, the one person from the church.
yeah, right. So it was an interesting choice. I'm kind of glad to see that, because now I know that I didn't like it. And I probably wouldn't know that. I probably wouldn't know that because every other film always has what is such a cliche, no, really, you got to believe me, I'm not going crazy kind of thing. And this one didn't do that. And I was kind of like, well, that's weird. I'm not as nervous or scared. Although the police leaving and being like, sorry, we can't help you, that did kind of put a little bit of it back. Like, okay, so the police aren't going to do anything to help me here. What was the point of me even bringing them over? I mean, yeah, they know it's haunted, but...
See, so I think that it did still kind of do that, except for it put the onus on the mother instead of the 10-year-old girl. Because now the mother is trying to get sympathy. She's trying to get help from people. And everybody's looking at her like, yeah, no, there's nothing going on there. Although I think the neighbors, something happened that the neighbors witnessed as well. Do they not? And that's
yeah, the neighbors were on board with it.
There was a huge thing that flew through their house at one point and just smashed into their teacups or something.
Was that the neighbor's house? The thing from the furnace, the fireplace?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's like when Brian brought that up, I thought similar. Like, I didn't love it because specifically in this movie, they set up that people aren't believing and the church won't believe until they get like some solidified evidence. But everybody's getting evidence all the time in this movie.
They're just not getting it on film.
Yeah, so it's just like so weird. Like, they went so hard right out the gate. Like, a lot of movies, it's a slow buildup of chair moves, this or that. Nobody believes them. This one just was tossing shit all over the place right from the jump. And I was like, okay, it's bold. But it conflicted with the portion of the story of like, oh yeah, but maybe they're just making it up.
Yeah.
Because the girl does make it up at one scene when she's in the kitchen trashing the kitchen, and she's not possessed at that point. It was really felt awkward.
The whole scene, you bring that scene up where she's faking it. I didn't even realize she was faking it until like afterwards. I was like, why would this kid go throw all this stuff around? I mean, she's heaving like heavy furniture. I thought she was really possessed, and they got it on film that this child was throwing furniture around. I thought that was proof, and they're like, oh, she's clearly faking it. And I was like, yeah, really? And then come to find out she was faking it because the ghost demon thing was telling her, get him out or I'm going to kill everybody.
Warrants. Yeah, exactly.
And so they had to, and so that was like an interesting change of the story. But again, it was confusing because I didn't understand what was going on. I thought she was possessed.
I'm with you on that one. I don't know why that was such obvious proof that she's faking it when the whole point of possession is that you are not in control of your body.
Right.
So that one is a little weird for me.
She looked pretty possessed to me.
Going back a second, though, I like that this movie went a different direction. Apparently, I'm the only one of the three of us that did. By showing the ghost to everybody as opposed to hiding it from people. I liked that it tried something different because every other movie does the first choice. Mm-hmm. I like this did the second. And if the Warrens brought the nun, which is the more demonic thing that actually wants to hurt people, and all the old man is trying to do is get them out of his house, it kind of makes sense that he would present himself to all of the people living in the house, because the mother is more likely to, be the one to say, okay, we're leaving, as opposed to if the little girl gets haunted. Mm-hmm. But then when like the church is involved, he's like, well, I'm not messing with the church. The church is going to make me like exorcise me, and I don't know where I go after that. So like, it wasn't that big logical leap for me that he'd be like, okay, I'm going to scare these people because I want them out of my house. I'm not going to scare those people because they're going to fight me, and I don't know that I can win that fight.
Right. I don't disagree with you. Like, I think it was an okay choice. I just think it conflicted with the other part of the story of like, does the general public believe this is a fake news, or is this an actual haunting? Like, that bar, or that line was so crossed into this is real events that it was unbelievable that people wouldn't believe, these poor people that are just getting tormented, and like the cops see it and can't do anything, just walk away from it. Like, it was just so far past the line that it just made that plot point irrelevant almost.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird.
Like I said, I'm glad they did it in this film because I found out that I didn't really prefer it. I don't think it was bad. I think they did a good enough job with the way that they chose to reveal everything to everybody. And Dan, you're how the old man doing it to the family, that all makes sense. It all checks. And it works. I just think that it adds this level of tension when you have people who are desperate to be believed that this crazy shit is happening to them. And we didn't get any of that, but it was kind of refreshing. So
They tried something. They took
bittersweet. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So this, I looked up a little bit, the actual happening, true to life happening in this movie is much more accurate account and portrayal in this movie than the first movie's story and portrayal. That being said, a big but here, the Warrens had almost nothing to do with this. This story. It happened in London. There was lots of investigations happening with lots of other people. The Warrens were like not even invited. They just showed up. They were there for like a day. They had very little to do with any of it. They didn't save this girl's life and rid the family of all these spooky creatures.
Did the police really write a report about the chair sliding across the floor? They did?
Yes.
Oh.
A female policewoman. That's redundancy in its finest. Yes, one of the police officers saw the chair move on its own, could not explain it, left.
Cool. That's kind of cool. I like that.
We can't help you. Try to get some help somewhere. That was so. The accounts are much more accurate, aside from, of course, the nun wasn't in it. And but the curmudgeonly old man, and then of course later in life the little girl grows up and says, it wasn't all evil. We don't think the ghost was evil. We thought it was actually lonely and just wanted to spend time with us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and not scare us away. They wanted us to stay, but didn't know how to communicate. Right. But then they were also like admitting that some things they did make a little fictitious to get more popularity or
embellished a bit
on the radar a bit, but the overall essence of the story was actually quite well done in this one comparatively to the first.
It was an impoverished family, and this happened immediately after Amityville was popular, right? Or almost the same time. So there is a case to be made that this family was just doing it for the money, for the thrill, for the fame or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, I think that the police reaction to seeing the chair slide across, writing the report, and then just leaving, that's a very human, realistic reaction to that situation. Yep. Hollywood would have them do something else. Real police would be like, nope, that's not in the handbook. I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
And even the fact that they left, but they still helped them outside. Like, not help them a ton, obviously.
Yeah, they're like, here,
you should go talk to somebody. Because Hollywood would go straight for the joke of just like, they're in their car driving away, right? Like, that would be the next scene. I liked the way they handled that one. I'm surprised you said this one's more realistic. This one felt so much less realistic. Like, I don't know the story at all, but just based on like, the haunted house versus like, the demon nun who, if you say its name, gets taken away. That felt way less realistic.
I think everything that Hollywood added to this took away from the realism. Everything that was based on the accounts was pretty cool.
But this is one of the most well-documented kind of hauntings like in history, because so many investigators came in and interviewed the family and did all of these things. And so they had a lot to pull from, a lot of material. And so I think that's why a lot made it into the movie. But then they messed it all up with the Warrens being the star of the movie and being just golden children that can't be touched and just perfection on screen. And did either of you find that they're getting just too unrealistic because they're so perfect?
Yeah.
Or is it just
Warrens?
a me problem? Yeah. Or is it
Yeah,
just a me
they're
problem?
like a Ken and Barbie kind of characters almost. They're a little weird. And then I felt like they kind of, I don't know. I was expecting them to look older, not younger. Was this out of chronological order? Because Mrs. Warren was looking pretty hot in this film, and I remember her being a little older in the. I don't know. Maybe I was just in the mood. I don't know. But I know she looked real good in this one, and I was like, "Wow, is she younger in this, or did they give her like a facelift or something?" Like, and Mr. Warren, I mean, he looked pretty fit too. So I don't know. Maybe they're just eating healthy since the last film, I guess.
Yeah.
I think he just got you with his Elvis impersonation.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, the Elvis scene was like, wow, that's really good. Like that was cool.
Yeah, he actually sang that too. The actor actually sang
That's
that.
good. Yeah, that was impressive. I like that scene.
It was weird to me that they got rid of the grandmother in this one. They didn't really explain away. They just like, oh, our house has a nun in it that's freaking me out. Better leave the daughter at home and go across the ocean. You're just like, okay. Like you didn't really need it. Like you kind of understand that like probably she has a babysitter. But it was one of those like, oh.
But it's also like weird. Very clear that the daughter has the same kind of powers or abilities as the mother. Yeah. And like the mom seems to know about it. So it's like, why are you leaving this kid alone? Like it's just going to go bad for them. But
yeah,
nothing can harm the Warrens. Come on.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Hey, if in The Conjuring 3, ghosts come after their daughter, that could be exciting. That could be an interesting plot point. I don't know. But I need there to be consequences. I need to see that someone could get hurt, at least injured severely. Maybe we don't need to murder anybody, but I'd like there to be consequences to some of these
kids. Just a couple of kids.
Yeah.
Just take one of the child actors out right away, and then we know there's going to be consequences later, and there's one less kid in the movie. It's going to be great.
That's true. Although I haven't hated the child acting in either of these films. Not spectacular by any means, but it's passable, so I've been okay with it.
I would agree with that. The only scene in this movie where I really didn't like the acting was actually from the Warrens.
Yeah.
Right near the end, they're talking to each other through a door. And I don't know if they were even on the same like sound stage or if that was recorded like a week apart or something, but like something about that scene was just absolutely not doing it for me.
Please, Warren, just wait for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is, I don't know. You're right. It was weird. It was kind of weird. And he's like, I gotta do this, and you know I do. I was like,
yeah. I'm sorry, I lied.
Yeah.
It was a bit too much for me. The house itself, now obviously it's supposed to be run down, it's supposed to be haunted. And even like one of the plot points is the fact that the mother is so poor that they are like that could be why they're faking it, is to try and get some money so they can get out of this house and get to something a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
The house looked condemned in every scene that we see it in. Like the kitchen was absolutely nasty looking.
Yeah.
At one point, I don't know if this is what we're supposed to take away from this, but at one point she turns the washing machine on, it springs a leak. And then we see a scene that's like a week and a half later, and the basement is half flooded. Did she just walk away from it?
just leave it?
Yeah. Didn't even shut the main off, you know?
Yeah.
That baffled me. I'm just like, okay, like you think you would
do
something? Mention
like
it.
that was like a duplex. You know, what does the adjacent attached housing situation feel like? They're haunted over there. Oh, and their basement's got 4 feet of water in it too.
It's crazy.
That's got to be causing problems with the neighbors.
Oh yeah, they're just knocking on the wall. Like, keep it down over there.
That's the knocking that they're hearing. They think it's haunted. It's the damn neighbors being like, "What are you doing?"
One of the kids outside with a universal remote just changing the channel on her.
Okay, so what was the scariest scene for you guys? What one did it for you? For me, it was the teepee with the fire truck going in and out of the teepee. Just not being able to see what was inside it. And like when he walks away and he keeps getting up to look down the hall and keeps getting up and looks down the hall. And you're like, it's going to happen. The truck's going to roll up to his door. It's going to happen. They stretched out so long. It was killing me. And then finally, sure enough, the fire truck comes rolling up to his door and starts that where he goes and looks in the teepee. That was a very scary scene, and I really liked that. What scenes did it for you? Dan, why don't you tell me?
I really liked that scene, to be perfectly honest. It reminded me very much of The Sixth Sense, like him having that little teepee hidden room.
Right.
The ending definitely did not work for me.
Yeah.
We've
It wasn't
heard.
great.
Honestly, the nun scene, like when the daughter's in the hall and like, who's that? And you just see the nun at the end of the hall, like that whole scene, like I kind of clued in that like it might not be what really happened, like it might be a dream sequence or something, but it still worked pretty well for me. Like that, the
It's very
imagery
creepy.
of the nun is very creepy.
Mhm. I would say that the long shots of the nun, when you get up into the nun's face, it looked like a
Get
dude
up in
with
the
bad
grill.
hygiene. Like it was, I don't know. It wasn't as great up close. I like the long shots of the nun, and that scene, especially when the nun just turns and slowly walks out of the shot. Very creepy stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it took a second to realize what was happening. So you'd think the nun just is there, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
all right. I thought we were dealing with something on the other side of the ocean. I didn't realize this was going to happen, but okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was creepy or scary, but the opening scene with the Amityville, I thought was very well done. I
Yeah,
really
interesting
liked
how she was walking through as him.
and and they're like mimicking each other. She's like loading the shotgun that's not
Yeah.
there.
That was, and to just walk by and shooting your family members like that, that was
so
hard
dark.
to watch.
So dark.
She really strongly reacted to the last daughter getting shot. Was that her daughter getting shot? Or why did she react so strongly to that one?
I'm not sure.
I think that was just her coming out of it. Like
Okay.
she was in it and just watching it, and then at the end she was able to like gain control of her body again and come out of it. I think she was panicking internally the whole time. You just didn't get to see it because she was in that trance state as she, filled his shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
She
it was
has her little.
that was rough opening sequence. That very much set a darker tone for me in this movie, and it did have me a little more anxious. But then when they rolled out CGI Crooked Man, I was like, okay, so we're not getting any of the real good scares. We're gonna go this way.
It is an interesting choice that they made the darkest moment at the beginning, and we never get that dark again. Not even close. Not even close.
Nope.
And so as far as like scary scenes, I didn't find anything like particularly scary in this. I thought there was some fun tension moments. I think my favorite, like just kind of creepy, interesting scene was the shadow nun along the wall when it was like walking along the wall, the shadow of it, and you knew it was just going to the painting to line up with it. I thought you know where it's exactly where it's going and exactly what's going to happen, but they just take thetheir time with it, and it's just subtle and nice, and then you see the hands come out on the painting. I thought it was well done. For what it was, I thought it was very fun.
I agree. I think that was a great sequence. I've never seen anything like that, and it was very creepy. The slow, you knew exactly where it was going to go, but watching it happen, I'm getting chills just talking about it now. So it's good if it can give you chills afterwards. Is there a shadow moving in your background?
What are you talking about?
Dan saw
I 100% just saw it.
What?
Are you screwing with us right now? There's a shadow that moved across the floor of your background just now.
You guys are screwing with me. I just talked about that scene.
No, I am serious.
That's hilarious. I don't know if that's a video or if like your cat just cast a shadow on the green screen or what.
That was
between the chair and where
I do
your
have a
name
dog.
is.
I do have a dog.
Did it just come in the room?
No.
Okay.
The door's closed.
That's too funny. It's hilarious. I don't know if that's been happening this whole time and we just noticed it because you're talking about the shadow. But that 100% just
1 hour in, I'm going to be going back and checking that. Go back to the VOD and look at that because I swear I saw a shadow move across the floor of your background.
That's hilarious. Funny. That's hilarious. All right.
So there is a scene. I was watching this with my wife, and the scene in the room with all the crosses. When they start turning over, my wife went to college for like theater tech. She worked backstage and whatnot. She really liked how that scene was done and how they were doing that. Like her brain was kind of going on like different ways they could have made that scene pop. Will, I know you got kind of a theater background, but I believe you're more the acting side than the technical side of it. Were there any of those scenes or the practical scenes in this that you were like, oh, that's actually really cool. I wonder how they did that. Or was it all kind of like, yeah, no, that's just wires and magnets?
Yeah, nothing like stands out, which is I think the beauty of it, right? Like when you don't know it's practical and you don't know it's not CGI, it just looks right, or it looks magical. That's beautiful. But nothing like really stood out. Sometimes I pick up things a lot because of my background, and sometimes I try, and especially with these, I try to remove myself from those specific critiques because otherwise I'll just hone in on them. And that's not good for what we're doing here. But I enjoy always the practical side of effects and makeup and all of that jazz. So lighting specifically as well.
If you like what we do and you want to help support us, head on over to the Patreon. There's a link down below. Huge shout out to our executive producers, Real Bubba Hotep, as well as Dino. And thank you so much to our head writer, Elder JM990. You guys are helping keeping the lights on, and we greatly appreciate you.
Okay, so I mentioned that sequels tend to do one of two things. They try to rewrite the story entirely and do something completely new, usually with a new writer, director, etc. Or they take the same recipe and add a little more flavor to it, which is what I believe they did in The Conjuring 2. We got pretty much the same kind of thing as The Conjuring 1, and they tried to push the envelope a little bit further. And frankly, I think they did a good enough job overall. I did like the first movie better than this one, but I still very much enjoyed this one as well. I believe that my scoring for the first Conjuring was a 77, and this one comes in as a 76. A little bit more fluctuations going on with some of the stuff. Like, I didn't think that the plot... I kind of didn't like what they did with the plot, bringing the nun across the ocean and having so much stuff going on again in this. So that didn't work out so well for me. And then the Crooked Man really put a damper on things. The CGI special effects for those sequences did nothing to scare me and took me out of the film. In fact, I wish they would have just left all the visualization of the Crooked Man out of it and just left it as a child's toy with some weird spooky stuff that they talked about. So 76 for me on this film. I think it's definitely something that if you are into scary movies, check out The Conjuring 1 and follow it up with this one.
I'm actually pretty much on the same page as Brian here. This one came in just a little bit lower than The Conjuring. I really liked the first movie. I really liked this one too, to be perfectly honest. There are a couple of kinks in the armor that are showing a little bit. Some of the acting was just a tiny bit worse. Some of the direction was a little bit worse. That last scene really put a damper on the movie for me because you know that they're not going to get hurt, but they're trying to play the tension like they could. I think this movie does better, or this franchise will do better, the less the Warrens are in it. I like them. I want them in it, but I don't want them to be the stars of this franchise. In the first movie, it felt like Ron Livingston and his family, they were the stars, and the Warrens were kind of there to help them. And it felt like anything could happen to Ron Livingston and his family. In this one, with the Warrens feeling like they were the stars, you kind of knew nothing bad was going to happen, especially because we know that there's 2 more movies to come, but also because we know about the Warrens. We know that that's not when they died or how they died. So that kind of put a bit of a damper on it for me. I didn't have quite as much problem with the CGI as the other 2 guys did, or the decision to have everybody be able to see the ghost as the other 2 did. That kind of worked for me as something different. The CGI wasn't great, but it was meant to be creepy, and I think it did an okay job. However, with horror movies, the creepiest thing is your imagination, so sometimes less is more, and this movie could have gone with that. My first one was an 82. This one's a 79. As I said, it's a little bit worse, but it's still incredibly watchable. And if you like this kind of movie, this is a really fun one.
You know what? We're all in agreement here tonight. The movie is consistent with the first installment. It's fine. It plays out similarly to the first one, story beat wise. The director definitely knows how to create a great atmosphere and keep some tension throughout. Unfortunately, this one just was a little long for my liking, and the bad CGI for me really was like, what is going on? But more so than anything, the unrealistic depiction of the Warrens is kind of starting to wear on me. So I'm hoping that it doesn't ruin the next 2 for me, but I'm a little bit worried that it might, just because there's such knights in shining armor that just could do no wrong, and that is far from based on a true story. Not that we have to like run them through the mud. It's just, give them a little bit more of, it's like Superman can be boring because he's just all powerful and can't be stopped in pure goodness. It's better when there's, a little darkness to you, like Batman. So this one's a 66 for me out of 100, which is again down 3 or 4 points from the original.
All right, and with that, The Conjuring moves very little. It went down for Will and I, stayed the same for Brian, and only lost 1 point overall. So 2 movies in, and it's still in second place. We haven't seen a franchise hold like that in a very long time. But as we all mentioned, we're all pretty okay with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, as sequels pile up, the score will drop. And I predict that will happen in this case, but I don't know how far it will drop because I think all of the movies have been fairly well received.
I mean, they just keep making them. Of course, they did that with Highlander too. But
I mean, horror movies are incredibly well known for having dozens of sequels, more than action movies generally. Because they're cheap to make and they usually do turn a profit. Like come Halloween time, people want to see something.
Yeah, it's a safe bet.
They want to see something they're familiar with. So Conjuring 4 is a better bet than, I don't know, something.
But I mean, the Conjuring universe has a dozen films, right? When you include Annabelle and the Nun and whatever else there is.
Yeah, because I think there's 2 Nuns and 3 Annabelles. So
that's a little too much.
Well,
I heard there
too many dolls and nuns.
I heard there was also plans to make a Crooked Man movie as well, but it got backburnered for some reason.
Because it would have been crap. Sorry, the CGI of the Crooked Man in this just failed miserably for me.
I agree.
That was definitely the sore spot in the film for me. That, and I didn't like the wooden stake at the end with Mr. Warren hanging out the window. Because like Dan said, we knew nothing bad was going to happen.
I mean, those curtains held on for dear life.
Oh, yeah.
They gave him minutes of life that he should not have had.
And each hook was stronger than the last.
Right, yeah.
Funny.
Just like physics. Like physics.
Oh, well, that's the way it goes.
All right, that's our rating of Conjuring 2, but what's yours? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. We record this live over at twitch.tv/The Mongoli Show every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to come over and hang out with us, you can head over there and hit the follow button. But if you made it this far in the video, you probably enjoyed it. Hit the like and subscribe so I see you in the next one.